Hi, my name is Avanish. I'm the CEO of LITERA. Thanks for joining us in this very unique company briefing this year at ILTON. We're definitely in different challenging times today. We're bringing our briefing to you from our new headquarters in Chicago. Unfortunately, no one's ever seen this space, even our employees, so this will be their chance to see the logo behind us and the entryway, and give you a chance to see kind of a taste of where LITERA is heading today. At our briefing, we're going to cover a little bit about where we've been as a business the last 12 months, where we're headed. By this time you've seen this, you've heard the news of a new acquisition LITERA's made last week. It's funny because every time we come to this thing, CIOs and those of you who are watching always ask, what are you going to buy next and where you're heading? And we always joke, I think we're good. And then here we are at ILTON announcing some new stuff. So let's get started with the briefing. And hopefully it's enough to drive some interest for further conversations. I recommend you taking time to digest what you hear, reach out to the business. We're set up to have demos throughout the week to get together for coffee, lunch, or dinner. The team is ready to still meet with you as if we are in person, and hopefully it goes well. If nothing else, it'll be a good laugh and an experience we can talk about later. So as a reminder, and as a forward-looking statement of where we are today, LITERA is the global leader in solutions that power the legal industry. We've updated the way we talk about our business significantly in the last 12 months. Using the word like power is really significant. We don't consider ourselves as an application business that's here to do a small job. We're here to really empower the industry, the drafter, the lawyer, to be more impactful in their day-to-day operation with their clients. The things LITERA is involved with is in regards to our strength and knowledge and experience of the workflow. It's our strength and our experience and knowledge of the client that the customer is working with. And we hope day in, day out, our roadmap, our acquisitions, and our desire to be the best at this shows itself. Over the past 4 years, we've really made our mark in the industry. Look at the size, the breadth, and depth of our customer base is a good testament of not only the product we build, but that you as industry are ready to look for new ways to do work. With some of the largest law firms in the world investing and partnering with LITERA, all the way down to solo practitioners that look to us as critical pieces of their day-to-day work, we are proud to continually serve this industry at the highest level. LITERA now has over 600,000 end users on the platform using something of ours. And roughly 10% of those 600,000 are leveraging the full power of LITERA Desktop. We have over 200 logos, or nearly 200 logos, in LITERA Transact as well. We hope to see that continue to grow this year and next year. The really amazing number to look at, and the one that we monitor not as closely as we should, are the number of documents that we touch. We're involved with DocX tools and repairing significant value documents every day. With Contract Companion and proofreading critical documents on the last second to make sure the lawyer hasn't missed a critical piece of data, to making sure every document that goes through your email is clean and safe. LITERA is routinely a part of that workflow and making sure that every document that goes out from a law firm is of the highest quality that it can be and of the safest quality it can be. Importantly, is to note that we're using this word transforming in a way that's unique to the industry. Historically, solutions like LITERA have been focused on a single draft at one time. They've been focused on a single paragraph, a single word, a single image to determine what's wrong with it. We are now in the game of looking at how can we work on multiple drafts, multiple documents at the same time in a collaborative way. Really thinking of this as a workspace and a workflow solution that LITERA wants to bring to the table. And we invest in the technology that lets us disrupt the workflow in a meaningful way. When we define the technology we want to look at, what are the things we look for? We look for workflows that are significantly paper-driven still today, ones that are slow, that take time to complete, and time that typically isn't collected back during the billing process. Significantly expensive for your clients to procure, whether it's M&A, litigation, drafting simple trust and estates documents. These are expensive things for a lot of your clients, and we should help drive down those costs. And then finally, error-prone. We don't want to talk about error in the legal industry. We know it's not a word that folks want to talk about, but it does exist. We're humans and errors are there. These four things, paper-driven, slow, expensive, and error-prone, are the four key things that go into why we disrupt with technology. I think LITERA routinely looks at those opportunities to invest in. There are two things I've been talking about this morning: workflows and workspaces. LITERA Desktop was announced 24 months ago as a new way to work in drafting documents. We now have over 50 firms leveraging that platform, and that continues to grow from Q2 to Q3 to Q4. We have over 65,000 end users leveraging that platform every day and finding great value in that. 12 months ago, we announced LITERA Transact, our entry into workspaces, where lawyers work with their clients and counterparties to get the job done, to work on matters. And now I'm proud to say we have 100 new customers joined this year, getting our total number close to 200. And as we announced on Friday, the acquisition of Allegory, we're now excited to enter a new workspace, a workspace we feel is underserved today with technology. And we're proud to bring LITERA Litigate to the table. LITERA Litigate is our next step in transforming the way legal teams of all sizes draft and collaborate, working on discovery requests, witnesses, binders, in the future bringing forms, docketing, filing to the platform. We want to be the solution that lawyers look to conduct all of their matters, from transactional to litigation. I think it's important to note what's been our journey in litigation to date. We've done a few things over the last few years. We launched Litigation Companion, which allowed lawyers to look at citations, table of authorities at a very high level. We acquired Best Authority earlier this year to really hone in on some of the drafting components of citations and TOA. And then this past week, acquiring Allegory. Building upon a platform that exists today, that's already being used by some of the largest litigation matters in the world, we're able to take this platform, make it stronger, and bring new things to it that exist in other disparate solutions, like I mentioned, forms, docketing, filing, litigation tracking. And all of this we're calling LITERA Work. LITERA Work is an entire ecosystem which supports legal teams surfacing the technology that they need in places they need it. We believe an ecosystem like this can really drive value, drive efficiency, higher quality work on time for all of your clients and all of your matters. And we view this very simply. LITERA Work is LITERA Desktop, LITERA Transact, and LITERA Litigate. We are focused on driving this forward for the industry. And LITERA Work will be on any document, any deal, any case, anywhere. We really believe that we are solving a solution, solving a problem that exists in the marketplace today with technology. And more on where we're doing that specifically and how we've achieved that in the last 12 months and where we're headed, I now introduce Jason Vandermeer, our Chief Product Officer. Jason.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you. As Avinash mentioned, my name is Jason Vandermeer, Chief Product Officer. Hope you all have a good week, albeit these are unique and strange times, but hope you can make the most out of the week and have some fun, find some good information, and have some good connections along the way. As Avinash mentioned, we've been on quite a journey, and as we're building products and we're refining our strategy, we keep a couple of things in mind to be guideposts. One is around helping our customers retain their clients, improve realization rates through focusing on higher value work, and lawyer happiness. As we're building products, we have a couple of key focuses as well around vendor consolidation and being the single vendor for legal drafting and collaboration services, but then also improving the end user experience. As we look at what we've done over the past couple of years around consolidation, we've really outlined ourselves in the one vendor philosophy. We've gone through the market and found the best products that there are, and now we're bringing those together to create the best solutions for the market. But you can't build something like this by just buying companies and integrating them. You have to be innovative to find the right solutions. You have to be knowledgeable and have the intelligence of the market to find the right solutions and then how to bring them together. But what also is important is empathy for the end user. Understanding how the end user works, what their challenges are, what they're faced in day to day, what their motivation is, and why they make certain decisions because they're compromises because they can't do something else. That is really what we're focusing on in the end user experience, improving the end user experience. And as we look through what is now LITERA Work in this whole suite, vendor consolidation and providing a single series of solutions and improving the user experience are the common thesis that we have in bringing these products together. As we look at LITERA Desktop, the key problems that we saw and the key challenges were, how do you allow attorneys to use a mountain of content safely and make it easy for them to access? When we were up here last year, we introduced the concept of reusing content and embracing the reuse of content by leveraging Clause Companion. We introduced the anonymized capability to find sensitive data in documents that can be reused, remove those, and replace them with variables or blank lines, and then to reuse them again while reducing the risk of one client to the other. That was a great start, but as we built out our content management capabilities, we realized that there was another flaw that we heard from the market, is there's nothing worse than having a content library that's blank with nothing in it. So that's why we've made significant efforts to populate content day one when Clause Companion's deployed. We have connections to many solutions now where we can surface data at rest. We started with Kira, and now we have connections to iManage. So all of the repository of content and all the value that's been already curated and set aside within iManage can now be surfaced and displayed and reused within Clause Companion. That, combined with our anonymized capability, allows for that safe reuse. Collaboration is also key in content curation and content use. We have the sharing capabilities within Clause Companion, but that's just a start. People want to not only share amongst their peer groups and among their practice groups, but they want to evangelize good content throughout a region to other practice groups or even to the entire law firm. So that's why we've added nomination capabilities into Clause Companion, so end users can nominate good content to knowledge management. And now knowledge management also has the tools and capabilities within Clause Companion to properly govern that data, to view what data is being used, to properly move data around from user to users as attorneys depart the firm or as moved to different practice groups. And then finally to approve that content as well. But that's just part of the problem. We've created amazing solutions to help teams manage content, but it doesn't help with the intelligence piece that we're trying to infuse all throughout our solutions. How do you get someone to use a product day one and immediately derive value out of it? That's where our recent acquisition of Best Practice comes into play. We're excited to show everybody that Best Practice is now part of Clause Companion. So on the right side, you have your clause library. If I were to click on a piece of content, I previously would get a preview of that below, but it would just be a static preview. Now we have an intelligent tray along the bottom where you can preview that piece of content in your library, but then also toggle through and find other suggestions of other content within the repository, your own repository, your peer group's repository, your practice group, or the entire organization to choose from. Now we're really surfacing the intelligence to find the best content that people didn't even know that they had available to them. And along with making it easy to spin up documents faster, it's our goal to just make things easier. How do you get the first draft out faster and make it the best draft as possible? So as we bring together our template solutions in Innova and Forte, we've also taken a minute to step back and look at the user experience and say, how can we allow these things to come up faster with as few clicks and mouse movements as possible? So what you see here is the accumulation of a number of design studies that we've done that allow user to spin up content even faster than they were before, and then to seamlessly integrate and make changes to those within the document as they're moving along. And it's that thesis of infusing intelligence and consolidating the products and making them easier to interface with that flows all the way through our suite. As we look at check, we know that there's things that just persist. You always have to proofread. Stability issues within Word are a constant, persistent issue. And now more than ever, with so many people working remote, independence is so important. As an attorney is sitting at home, maybe helping her kids do homework or trying to bring groceries to his parents, there's so many divided responsibilities that we have, and the focus is so hard that it's hard to connect with different teams remotely. So we're trying to put more power into the end user's hands to solve their own issues and infusing intelligence, again, with our recent acquisition of best practice into the solution to help people guide them and empower them to solve problems on their own. And this really goes through in the workflows of how we envision people working. It's creating that first draft, fleshing it out with knowledge content, iterating on proofreading and refining the language, and then moving on to finalization and polishing. And that flows through no matter if it's corporate work or a transaction deal or a litigation case. And this is why we're so excited, especially in the vision of single vendor and vendor consolidation, that we can bring to market LITERA Check, right? And this is the combination of contract companion, litigation companion, best authority. And if you look at the numbering tab there, that's actually powered by DocX Tools Companion now, all in a single installer. And the other aspect of this that's so important is it's one solution for everyone on the team to use. Whether you're an attorney, a support staff, a secretary, anybody doing repair and polishing or putting in TOAs or doing market research or doing case research, these solutions are available to be the one solution that touches the documents and makes suggestions so that the whole team can be aligned on what's being worked on and what's outstanding. And I don't want to forget classic DocX tools. I want to touch on this for just a moment to just give everybody an update. DocX Tools is the foundation to document stability and document repair in the legal industry. For years, people have entrusted microsystems and then LITERA to provide DocX tools to stabilize documents. But in the 21st century, the platform of DocX tools quickly needs to be updated. As we're moving to more web-based capabilities and more remote working, we need to update DocX tools onto a more modern platform. So what you're seeing here is our first steps at improving the UI, building on a 21st century technical stack, infusing better user experiences to guide people through solving problems, while still incorporating the robust capabilities that DocX Tools has to solve any repair issue that there is. Now, we have a long journey to get this right, and this is just the start. We take this so seriously because this is really our reputation, one of the cornerstones of our reputation. So we're going to be really testing this. We're going to be interfacing with the market. We're going to be sharing our progress with you. So look forward to us reaching out to you and showing us our progress and then letting you tell us how we're doing. For collaboration, we stood up here a year ago and announced that the Workshare product line was now part of the LITERA family. And in doing so, we ended up with more products that largely did the same thing. And we stood up here and said, we're going to take care of it. We're going to bring these together. We've made significant progress here, and I'm so proud of what we've done. And in doing so, we've also discovered, especially in the metadata cleaning front, with 3D Clean and Metadact and Protect and Detect, these capabilities aren't just metadata cleaners. They're not just removing some data from the document. There's so much more than that. And let's be honest, lawyers are in the business of sharing sensitive data via email to other people outside of an organization. So a classic DLP system doesn't necessarily work in aiding in this collaboration. So that's why we've now started to really reposition these solutions to be drafting collaboration risk management systems. How can you take a piece of content and share it and not only clean metadata from it, but also perform send challenges to examine and say, are you sure you want to send this to all of these people? This address looks like it's out of place. As we have many attachments within an Outlook message, it can be really difficult to see and visualize everything that's included in there. So we've included attachment management capabilities to order and to bind and to password protect those attachments. And then finally, when all else fails, we have the DLP-like capabilities to block, to alert, to quarantine in case someone inadvertently makes a mistake and does something on accident to protect the firm's reputation and help keep that risk in check. And then finally, robust reporting capabilities to actually look in the rear view and say, what are our trends? What are our users doing? How can we keep them productive while keeping risk in check? We want to provide that level of intelligence and that level of capability. And that's one of the really exciting things we've been able to do with these metadata cleaning solutions, is really recreate and reposition them to be something more powerful than they were before. We also stood in front of you last year and talked about comparison and said we have Change Pro and Workshare Compare, and we're going to bring these together. I'm happy to report some significant progress that we've made in improving Workshare Compare and bringing over Change Pro comparison features. What you see here are a couple of screenshots. On the left is a user experience that's very similar to what was in Change Pro, but now available within Workshare Compare. To the right are more robust comment and tracking and comment comparison capabilities that are also available in Workshare Compare now. This isn't just about taking what was in Change Pro and putting it in Workshare. This is about listening to the end users and saying, what do you want? How do you want to interface with this? And we're happy to find out that not only were these features in demand, but they were being asked for some time to improve the Workshare Compare product line. So in bringing these together, we can truly make a better combined comparison solution than we had when we started. And it's not just on the user interface, it's also in the comparison engine as well. We've incorporated abilities to do pixel by pixel comparison for better image comparison, which is so important in litigation work. Better table comparison to recognize unique changes within the tables, and then a readout of the actual delta and what has changed. But as we're consolidating, we're not just bringing the products together and taking two products and making them one, we're also innovating and improving. So we're happy to show progress here around taking our comparison solutions and moving them and making them Office 365 web applications. This is more important now than ever. As people are home, as people are reviewing content on iPads and other devices, we want them to be able to use Word online and to collaborate in teams and to be able to have the same value of LITERA Desktop where they're working and not force them to go to where LITERA Desktop is. And that's why things like this are so exciting. We're extending this across the suite. We've made progress around our Create products and our Templates products. And we'll be doing this across the rest of LITERA Desktop, not only to provide these user experiences where people are working, but also from a device standpoint, but also to extend into what workspace they're working in, either LITERA Transact or LITERA Litigate. And that's really exciting. And onto LITERA Transact, we've made so much progress in the last year in LITERA Transact as well. And it makes me really excited because we've spoken to so many users who have told us before the competing products were Word and Excel. And that's great because you have a lot of flexibility, but there's no accountability and transparency of what's changed and which version are we supposed to use. We also have extended the capabilities to make the experience more like Word and Excel, to allow for that clean experience and that customization, but then also to provide the similar experience that they were used to in Excel and Word. And here's an example of that, of some of the designs that we've put in place recently that will be coming out later this year. The other thing that we're focused on around LITERA Transact is how do we expand and extend the capabilities of LITERA Transact to do more than it does today, to cover diverse types of transactions and different type of corporate work, and really extend the product so that it's a no-brainer that a user would come in and habitually pick it up and say, I need to use this today. Now that sounds like it's something that's very beneficial to LITERA for users making this more habitual, but as one of our CIO partners put it within the last 12 months, something along the lines of, right, when you first saw LITERA Transact, the reaction was, this is the only product on the market that can prove ROI almost immediately. And the more people that we have using this, the more ROI that it puts into our customers' hands. So doing things like what we have here, doing simple UX changes to improve the experience, to reduce mouse movements and clicks, to set up multiple signature pages for a single user in one document, making that easier, standing that up faster, just makes it so much more easy to consume. And then finally, extending the value of LITERA Desktop into LITERA Transact and soon to be LITERA Litigate. Here's our first proof point of integrating comparison into the checklist to compare different versions. we're going to be doing this across the board. We're going to be able to spin up templates from our workspace solutions, to reuse content, to analyze documents. We even have an integration today where the anonymized capability of Clause Companion can place variables that LITERA Transact can read. So when a template is imported, we can import a value set right away. So finding those simple integration points between the product suite to compound the value and ROI is really exciting to us. And speaking of excitement, as we've announced today, LITERA Litigate. Again, when we stood up here last year, we talked about extending an ecosystem where people will work. And Transact was the first step of that to cover half the business. But Litigate really rounds this out to cover so much of the work that people are doing within a law firm, and really rounds out LITERA Work to be a true enterprise-grade solution suite for law firms. As we look at Litigate, it transcends our drafting solutions all the way into our workspace solutions. As we mentioned before, in drafting, litigators are constantly reusing and creating new documents again and again and again. They're researching and fleshing out more information using past content and research repositories to craft better arguments. And they're iteratively collaborating on these arguments to produce better information for clients and to handle the cases better, and then finalizing for submission. Where Litigate and Allegory will play such a huge role is really continuing on that and continuing that collaboration and taking that huge amount of data that's accumulated from evidence and investigation and put it in one repository where people can collaborate and craft stories and narratives and better arguments for the case. And then while they're working on that knowledge type work, be able to facilitate reminders and dates and tasks and docketing for the future, right? Never miss a date again. Don't be embarrassed by missing a submission date while you're focused on the story, but let LITERA Litigate help out with those reminders. And then finally, to get a little bit more granular, what we're really excited about is binders, the humble binders. These aren't just the things that are created at the very end of a case for submission. These are the information vehicles that keep people informed day after day, interaction after interaction, meeting after meeting. Being able to quickly construct binders with the key information that's needed so that litigators can meet with clients and witnesses and go to depositions and opposing counsel and the judges, and having that cross-section of information that they need to be best prepared, that's what LITERA Litigate's all about, and that's what's super exciting about it. So as we look to the future, I can't be more excited with where we're going. We have the veneer of an ecosystem put together that's ever-growing in robustness and capability, and we're just at the right spot where we're about to take off. And I'm excited to bring on Haley Altman to talk about where we're going to go in the future. Thank you, everybody. It was good chatting. Have a good week.
All right. Well, thank you, Jason and Amanish, for this great kickoff to what we're doing. So we're looking to the future, and you've already heard so many exciting things: the acquisition of Allegory and the creation of LITERA Litigate, the further expansion of all of our core product sets, including LITERA Transact and LITERA Desktop. And so what does that mean for the future? We're continuing to focus on what our customers need. We want to deliver solutions that provide value and enhance their overall experience. So what does that mean as we look to how we build for the future? Our focus will always remain the same. When we think of everything that we're going to do and how we're going to advance the company, we focus on 3 core areas. So first, we want to improve realization rates for everything you're doing. We understand that a lot of the technology that we have reduces the administrative burden. So that takes some of the time away that you're doing these tasks that are very difficult to bill for. When you think about what LITERA Desktop does, it helps you bring your first drafts as close to final delivery as possible when we're working on these projects. And that really can help you reduce the time that it takes to administer these different documents. When you think about LITERA Transact, our goal is to take away all of this administrative time as you move towards closing, giving you the ability to focus on the higher value aspects of the transactions that you're doing. And we'll see the same as we look to LITERA Litigate. How do we give you the ability to focus on projects that will give you the highest rate of realization on any type of matter you're doing so that you can be more profitable? This is important. This ability to focus on high value tasks, a legal task, focuses in on our next key pillar. We want to help you retain clients. That is so important to everything we're doing, everything we're thinking about building, and you can see it in the advancement of our products. As I mentioned, our goal is to make every document, every first draft, as close to final delivery as possible. As you've heard around the LITERA desktop, we want to pull all of the pieces of the drafting process together in one place so you can advance your work product. You have the ability to understand where everything is, and with the acquisition of best practice, we can actually take all of the information and content that you've gathered across the work that you've done and put it to use in the documents you prepare. But as Avanish mentioned, what we've realized is that documents aren't drafted in isolation. They often come together in the most important things you're working on, your deals, your cases, these critical things that your legal teams are focusing in on. So we want to give you the way to see not only how things are for the single document, but how does this apply to the entire document set that underlies this critical aspect of what you're doing. We've seen in LITERA Transact that when you send signature pages out, you can receive and close a deal in as quick as 24 hours. That is something that delights clients. As a former M&A attorney, as we waited for all the signatures to come in, the client was just wanting to know minute after minute, where are we on this deal process? How close are we to closing? These are critical, important moments in the life cycle with your client, and we want to be there with you to help you improve the delivery of those high quality legal work so that people can get deals done and file everything that they need for their cases. So that is important to us. Helping you retain clients is critical in everything we'll be doing and everything we think about as we advance our core product offering. And what does that also tie into? Giving you the ability to focus on high value work, take away the administrative burden in everything that you do, gives us the ability to focus on end user happiness. It is critically important to us that everything we develop for you is usable for your attorneys and your legal teams. We want to make sure that every product is something that is intuitive. We want to take the administrative aspect of actually leveraging the technology out of the workflow. We're constantly focused on user-centric design. How do we understand what's most important to the teams that are leveraging their technology? So we always want to be mindful. And as we think about what we're building and the direction we're going, how we can make your end users feel the most comfortable is of critical importance to us in everything we do. So we will continue to invite customers into our process and understand their needs, their wants, the problems, and how we can continue to make our products better and increase their happiness. So what does that mean in everything that we have now and the direction that we're going? We think it's so critically important to focus on how your attorneys work. When we set out to build Doxley over 4 years ago, we understood that transactional attorneys needed a place to collaborate with their teams, with their clients on the work that they were doing. It was important to provide them with a space that gave them access to all the documents and the tools that they needed. But we knew that our transactional attorney friends were not the only ones that were struggling with how they were going to work. I would talk to litigators. I'd see them in the elevator rolling their giant briefcases with all of the things that they needed to bring to their depositions. And so similar to how we wanted to take those in-person closing rooms with tons of folders lining up desk after desk to close out a deal, we want to take away the need to transport these big amounts of information. So with these digital witness binders and everything we're doing with LITERA Litigate, we can really bring that same sort of efficiency to these different core processes. And we'll continue to evaluate what are the different workspaces that our attorneys and legal teams need. So what are the ways that we can continue to improve and evolve the way you work, always being mindful of taking our core system and integrating it with your other core aspects, whether that be document management, security. So as we continue to evolve everything we do, we're mindful of all the things that are critically important to you as a firm. But we don't want to just focus in, and we think that the way that we can really understand what's important to the customers that we serve is by thinking more holistically about the legal industry. So we're really committed to understanding the industry, the needs of the customers, the needs of the community, by focusing on what products we can deliver. What are the different ways we can expand our product set, expand the different core functionalities that we do so that we can deliver to your legal teams the things that they need that are going to advance what they do with their clients. We always want to be true to the focus of what you need as you grow. But we also want to bring exciting thought leadership to the market. We'll be launching a LITERA content hub that will raise all of these different ideas and works that will be important as you guys evaluate what the next important steps are that we can all do as a whole to advance the legal community. So we'll continue to come together to highlight thought leadership, engaging content that will service and advance the industry. And then we'll pull that together by bringing and showcasing and highlighting diverse views. With LITERA TV, we've been fortunate enough to bring a wide swath of leading leaders in the legal industry with all different perspectives to the market. We want to look internationally, back in the US, and we want to hear what everyone needs, what's important to the industry as a whole. So overall, as a brand, we are really focused in on understanding what our customers need, what the market needs, because we think that provides the best ability for us to advance as an overall industry. So at the end of the day, we're focused in on any document, any deal, any case, anywhere. And we'll continue to deliver against that for all of our customers. So thank you.